What's going on, everyone? It's Stephanie Adams with SOS Solutions. So I want you to picture this with me. Just picture this for just a second. You're sitting at home and you hate your rental. Like, you absolutely hate it. You haven't really looked into buying a house yet, but it's definitely something that's on your mind because you're ready to move. Let me tell you how you can buy a house and actually make money doing it. Stay tuned. Okay, so my daughter, I have two daughters. My daughters are still relatively young in their really early 20s. One decided to go to college, the other one did not. Doesn't matter either way. But as they start to look for home buying options, I've talked to them both about a strategy that I learned about and absolutely love. So I figured I will share it with you guys. So here's what you're going to do. Now with my daughters, I told them to do this, well, since we're in an area where there are colleges and universities everywhere, I figured this would be a really good way to do this. So bear with me, I promise. I'm rambling a little bit, but just bear with me. Since we're in a college town, I asked them to look for a property that was close to a college. Why would they do this? Couple of reasons. The one who was not in college was young enough to be a college student. My other one is at the university, so of course we have the same thing. What you would do is you would apply for and get your mortgage, but because both of my daughters were single at the time, it would have been really easy for them to have one room that belongs to them and then rent out the other rooms. Now, here's how you would do this. Let's say that your mortgage payment is, I don't know, $1,200 a month, and you have a 3-bedroom house and you only need one room. That gives you 2 rooms that you can rent out. Now, mind you, a lot of people are doing this, so you're gonna wanna take a look around and do your research. The other thing you're gonna wanna research is the cost of room and board at the university itself, because then you're gonna know how much money you can actually charge for these rooms. So most of these kids at college are getting into a dorm where they have to share a space with 3 to 4 other people, but they get access to the kitchen and the bathrooms and, you know, all of that, the living room, all of that kind of stuff. The same thing can happen for your now investment property. So she could have one room that belongs to hers, probably that primary suite. You know, she's got her bedroom, she's got her bathroom, that's all hers, and then the rest of the space is all shared. She could rent out those other 2 rooms. So we'll say that her payment is $1,200 a month. She could do $500 or $600 for each room that she's renting out. If her mortgage payment is $1,200 a month, but she's renting out a room to each one of these people for $600 a month, guess who doesn't have a mortgage payment? Yeah, my daughter. So she would be able to basically have her home paid for every month, and she could just take the money that she would have to have allotted and throw it into an account and start saving that money. And then what happens is, over the years of her continuing to live there, let's say they get married, or you know, they're gonna have a baby or something like that, she can then just move out of that master suite and into her own home using the money that she had been able to put away in the house that she was currently living in. So let's say she's stocking away that $1,200 a month on her mortgage payment, and she does that for a few years. That money's good for a new down payment. She can move somebody else into the original house and continue to get additional money for that while she moves into her new house. So it's a great way to save money. If she decides over that time that she wants to then sell that original house, chances are she's gonna make money off of that as well. But the sweet spot of having a house that's near a university or a college is that, for the most part, as long as that house is upkept, it will almost always be rented, because there's almost always college kids who don't want to live on campus. They want that freedom of being able to stay off campus and potentially save money on their tuition because they don't have to pay for that room and board. So, all right, so if you're watching this and you're like, I do not want strangers living in my house with me, I totally get it. So here's another way that you could potentially make some money off of buying a house. It's gonna appreciate over time. So yes, you're gonna have to probably do some renovations. And honestly, if you're paying attention to the market and you can grab the house either as a foreclosure or a short sale, you can save money on that house, and it likely automatically has value to it. So beyond what you owe on the house, it could potentially already have value in it. Now, Sometimes when you buy a foreclosure or a short sale, some work needs to be done to the house. It maybe wasn't kept up and you're gonna have to sink some money into it. So you do as much as you can, but then when you're ready to sell the house, say you hold on to it for a couple of years, 2 to 3 years, by the time you're ready to sell that house, naturally it's already appreciating because houses tend to appreciate over time. So naturally it's already appreciating. Plus you add in all of the renovations that you've put into the house and you've actually already added additional value to the house. So when you go to sell it, chances are you're gonna walk away with a nest egg. So there's several different ways that you can do this, and I've heard a million different stories on how people have used housing to make money. It's not just shelter for us people. You can actually turn this into a business, and there's a lot of people who do that. They just take one house, they make money off of it, they use that down payment to buy another house and then another house, and then the rental income becomes passive income for people, and that's how they make their living. So I actually had a client last year who bought 10 houses in a year, and she was holding them as rentals. It was really cool to watch it happen. So yes, buying a house can actually produce an income for you. Any questions, comments, or concerns, just reach out. I'm Stephanie Adams with SOS Solutions. I would be happy to connect you with a realtor or a loan officer in the area who could potentially really educate you on how you can make this work.